Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb orders that toxic waste to be tested before it comes to Indiana. Welcome to our Thursday night 10 o'clock show. Good to have you with us. It's one of the topics that we're going to be discussing tonight. Karen Campbell will break down what we have learned about this waste that has come from that train derailment in Ohio here to Indiana. Governor wants to have it tested. We'll break that down for you. Also tonight, the National Park Service creating a lot of dialogue after they had a pretty humorous tweet about what you should do if you come across a bear. We don't have that, of course, happening a whole lot here in Indiana, but in case you do have a spring or summer vacation and you are coming across bears, we'll be talking about what to do in case you run across a bear. And of course,
run.
The run. Well, we'll see about that. The other thing that we want to talk about, of course, get you weather aware, because tomorrow is going to be a very wet and stormy day, isn't it?
Yeah, and snowy for some.
Wow.
We've got some new information from the National Weather Service, and we talked about this during the early evening news. We knew there would be some cold air wrapping into the backside of this system, so
right.
We knew there would eventually be a changeover from all rain and storms to a rain-snow mix to snow. Thought that banding of snow would set up closer to the Michigan state line.
Okay.
But the National Weather Service has added a couple of our counties to a winter weather advisory.
Oh, wow.
And one county, Benton, to a winter storm warning.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Not to mention that the southern half of the state may deal with severe storms, and everybody caught in the middle, a couple of inches of rain.
All right, so Friday's going to be a very interesting day. You're
Yeah.
going to definitely want our weather app on your phone to keep aware of it.
Yes, and check back frequently.
Yep.
We may see some changes, especially with where that snow band sets up tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. We'll start with that new information from the National Weather Service. I don't have a lot to show you in terms of rain or snow on live Doppler 13 radar right now, but here are the areas now under the winter weather advisory. That's going to include you in Monticello, Logansport, Peru, and Wabash. Fowler, you are in pink and under a winter storm warning. This is for the potential of several inches of heavy snow that would come down in just a matter of a few hours. So please keep this in mind, especially if you have travel plans north along Interstate 65 late in the day tomorrow. We are expecting some snow. This is a large storm system. We have flood watches that are posted from Ohio to Arkansas. We have wind advisories and high wind warnings that cover the eastern half of the country, all because of this storm system. Now, for most of us, our immediate threat will be that heavy rain that could lead to some flooding, especially with the potential of 1 to 3 inches of rain possible. That's going to fall from about 2 a.m. to 2 p.m. tomorrow and really impact that morning drive. The other threat, and that will come in the afternoon from about 1 to 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, would be the threat of a couple of thunderstorms that could turn severe with damaging winds and potentially may rotate. That severe storm risk, as expected, was pushed a little farther north and does now include a good part of central Indiana. I do want to take you to the timeline. This is Future Track 13, really doing a great job on the initialization of where the rain is now. Really starts to fill in between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. So set your alarm clocks a little early. Sunrise is going to be a great resource. They start at 4 a.m. and they'll have you covered all morning with the heavy rain falling that could cause some travel delays. It's just going to take you longer to get where you're going because of the heavy rain, and you can see that very early tomorrow morning. That's 8 a.m. I'm going to stop it at noon, and I want you to focus on where we get some clearing, and that's going to be Bloomington, Bedford, Greensburg, Columbus, Shelbyville, Rushville, maybe even Connorsville and Richmond, Brookville too. This area we're going to watch closely and watch the storms really erupt during the afternoon hours. That's going to be from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. That severe threat is gone, and then we'll turn our attention to the heavy snow threat. Look what happens after 4 o'clock. You can start to see the snow develop out across Illinois, maybe near the Champaign area. Poof. We've got snow.
Wow.
Yeah, late afternoon, early evening
wow.
forming. And where this zone sets up with the heavy snow, we could quickly get several inches of snow, heavy, wet snow, before this system departs.
My goodness.
Late Friday night, early Saturday. We could get it all tomorrow.
I was just going to say, is it possible we'd get a severe thunderstorm and then snow in some counties across the state?
I think the best snow chance is going to be north and the best severe threat is south.
Wow.
But we're going to be potentially under winter storm warning and a winter weather advisory and maybe a severe thunderstorm watch or a tornado watch tomorrow.
Wow. Okay.
At the same time.
Yeah, you're definitely going to want the
So-
app. Continue to check in with Sunrise beginning at 4 a.m. The noon show. Angela and Chuck will be here, so you want to be weather aware all day tomorrow. We'll talk with Angela in a moment about a little bit more about the forecast. We do want to turn our attention, though, to one of the other big stories. As we've been reporting for several days now, this toxic waste that was the result of the train derailment over in East Palestine, Ohio. Some of the truckloads came to Indiana, dumped that in Putnam County's landfill in Rocheville. So today, the governor ordered the soil to be tested by a third party. And our Karen Campbell brings us up to date on the NTSB investigation that caused all of this toxic waste.
In the middle of this toxic cleanup, railroad union leaders say their workers are operating here with no PPE.
I've been out there a dozen times. Nobody's wearing protective equipment. I've asked 3 or 4 times. It's really alarming.
Michael Ruley represents East Palestine in the Ohio State Senate. He also lives near the derailment.
Some people that live near the rail actually are suffering from rashes and some discoloration in the skin. So it's a very real thing, and the workers there need to be protected.
Friday marks 1 month since the disaster, and the uncertainty about how lives can continue is palpable.
I have a part ownership in a farm, so I'm concerned about that, the soil at the farm. Can we plant? Can we not plant? Will anybody buy it if we do plant?
In terms of new federal regulations, a bipartisan group of U.S. senators is introducing a new bill that will enhance safety procedures for trains carrying hazardous materials, reduce the risk of train wheel-bearing failures, boost maximum fines for wrongdoing, and require at least 2-person crews on trains like the one that derailed. The head of the NTSB, who calls this accident 100% preventable, says she looks forward to the CEO of Norfolk Southern testifying before the Senate next week.
I would ask him what would he do differently, and how will he protect this community now that there's been a spill, and how will he protect the workers?
Okay, so there's the latest on the investigation from the NTSB. Coming up tonight at 11 o'clock, Logan Gay is going to be advancing this story and talking to us a little bit more about what we can expect with that toxic waste that is arriving here in Indiana. She'll be bringing that story for you coming up tonight on 13 News at 11. And Rachel Krause has a story tonight about an Indiana task force that is keeping Indiana children safe online. All part of our coverage coming up here in about 55 minutes over on Channel 13. All right, let's close our evening together by talking about a pretty funny viral moment that the National Park Service has been having with some people online about bears and how to protect yourself from being attacked by a bear. So let's go ahead and put up some of the tweets that the National Park Service actually put out earlier this week, and it's been getting a lot of attention online. So the National Park Service said, if you come across a bear, never push a slower friend down, even if you feel the friendship has run its course. Well, one person wondered, well, what if you're the slower friend? Or why would I have to push them down if they're slower? I'll just outrun them. So based on the tweets that we saw today, we thought it'd be kind of fun to, even though we don't really experience bears here in Indiana, we do travel to states where there are bear, and we wanted to go ahead and just let you know what the National Park Service says you should do if you see some bears. So we've got some video of bears that we just want to, some pictures of bears. So here's what the National,
cute.
Yeah, they are cute when you're looking at them on TV, not probably when you're seeing them in person. So what should you do if you see a bear? So according to the National Park Service, they say identify yourself by talking calmly, so the bear knows you are a human and not a prey animal. Remain still, stand your ground, slowly wave your arms. Help the bear recognize that you are a human. It may come closer or stand on its hind legs to get a better look or a smell. A standing bear is usually curious, not threatening. National Park Service says stay calm. Remember, most bears don't want to attack you. They usually just want to be left alone. Bears may bluff their way out of an encounter by charging and then turning away at the last second. That would be horrifying, wouldn't it? You're standing there, you're doing all the things, you're being calm, and the bear decides not to actually attack you at the last second. I don't know how you hang on there.
No.
Bears may also react defensively by woofing, yawning, salivating, growling, snapping their jaws, laying their ears back. I don't know how anybody's going to recognize
No.
it.
And they're just going to, and then you're supposed to stand there and say, hello, baby.
Right. So here,
Don't worry, I'm a human.
exactly. Never imitate bear sounds or make a high-pitched squeal. Stay calm. Pick up small children immediately. Do not make any loud noises or screams. The bear may think it's the sound of a prey animal. Slowly wave your arms above your head and tell the bear to back off. Do not run or make any sudden movements. Now,
Okay.
look, I've got people already saying, you know, you ought to be carrying bear
Bear
spray
spray.
when
Yep.
you're out there. If there are bears, obviously check with the Park Service. Ask them if they've had any bear spottings. But
Yeah, well-
Glenn mentioning there's a brown bear. Somebody said, joking, feed them a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That was
like Yogi
Sam who said that. So you've had any encounters with bears
No.
on any trips?
But we did visit Yosemite, and
Yeah.
Luke bought a whistle. And you know, they do kind of scare you in the literature that you really shouldn't have open snacks. Like your snacks should be in containers.
Yeah.
Really shouldn't be eating out there in the wild because
Right.
that may attract them. Bear spray was one.
Yep.
Glacier is on our list, and so I was Googling like some of the popular trails.
Yeah.
And most of them said beware of bears.
Yeah,
And so
beware
I'm
of
like,
bear.
I'm crossing that one off the list.
And if you
we'll
see
just do
a-
an easy one.
And if you see a cub, you know mama's not far, right?
For sure.
Yeah, you got to be careful when you're out there with
Mm-hmm.
bears. So anyway, we thought we'd talk about bears tonight. Let's see what some of our friends are saying tonight. Wes says, I'm a human, Mr. Bear. I'm sure you understand the English language I'm saying.
It's like when
very
I talk,
funny,
yeah,
Wes.
It's
That's
like when
very
I talk
funny.
to Rosie. I'll be right back. Don't you worry. I'm sure she understands every word I say.
Right. Glenn says, tell the bear to go. Renita says, I don't think I would want to stick around long enough to see if the bear is just curious. That's exactly
True.
how a lot of people feel. So, all right, a lot of people are going to be wondering about this weird weather tomorrow. I mean, we may see, depending on where you live, you may see a lot going on tomorrow, right?
Yeah, a threat of severe weather that would include thunderstorms with damaging winds, maybe a couple of rotating storms
Yep.
south of I-70 between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. We all get into heavy rain 2 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay.
And then tomorrow evening, a quick burst of snow just north of Lafayette, Monticello, Delphi, Wabash, Peru might be enough for a couple of inches
Wow.
in really a short amount of time. So very active weather pattern tomorrow.
All right, be sure to join us tonight at 11 o'clock. We'll be breaking down the weather, giving you the 7-day forecast, and of course the stories we've already mentioned. Thanks so much for joining us every night here at 10 o'clock. We'll see you at 11. Good night.